Good afternoon, everybody. Our next talk is going to be on why we study science at the ANU.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much. Look, thank you all very much for coming. It's absolutely wonderful to see so many of you here. I'm Kieran Kirk. I'm the Dean of the College of Science, which means I have broad responsibility for all of the teaching, the education and the research that we do in science here at the ANU. And the science is a big part of the ANU, and these are the sorts of areas that we cover. Astronomy and astrophysics, biology, chemistry, earth sciences, environment and sustainability, mathematics. We go into the health sciences, epidemiology and population health, and medical science come out of the College of Health and Medicine, physics, psychology, and science communication. So we have a very broad palette of science subjects. If you have any interest in any aspect of science, I'm sure you can find things here that will be of interest to you. So let me just say a little bit about the undergraduate science program, first of all. So the major degree we have is the Bachelor of Science. And the Bachelor of Science is a 3-year undergraduate degree. And you might choose a Bachelor of Science for a number of reasons. I'll talk about that, but it gives you a lot of breadth. You can choose a lot of different subjects, both from within science and from elsewhere in the university, and bundle that together under a Bachelor of Science. Bachelor of Science Advanced is what we call an honours degree. It means you come in and you do 3 years, first of all, doing the lectures, often in the same lectures as the science students, and then you do a 4th year, an honours year, which I will talk a little bit about, what's involved in that. And if you're coming into the Bachelor of Science Advanced, you are guaranteed a place in that honours program. So when you come into the university, you'll know that you will have a 4th year, which will be focused, as I'll talk about, in doing some research. And then along the way, as you go through the Bachelor of Science, honours degree, you will also have some specific options in some of the courses you do in the first 3 years. Then we have something called the Bachelor of Philosophy, which is another honours entry degree. It's another 4-year degree. It's a more research-intensive degree. It's a degree that gives you opportunities to do research as you go through the first 3 years of your undergraduate, and then it gives you a 4th year, again, doing research. You have an academic mentor as you go through. So it's a relatively small cohort. It's a specialised degree for a relatively small number of students. So when we talk about the science degrees, this is the general degree structure at the ANU. So just so you know, when I use terms like courses and units, you know what I'm talking about. The basic 3-year degree, in each of those 3 years, you do 8 6-unit courses. So units are what we use to add up the total amount of study that you've done. And the aim is to get 144 units in order to qualify for your bachelor degree. And so you typically do 4 courses in first semester and 4 courses in second semester in first year, and you do the same, more specialised courses in second year, and you do the same in third year. And that gives you 48 units, 24 courses, which give you the basic bachelor degree. You have the option of doing an honours year. You can do that as a Bachelor of Science student, where you've come in initially as a Bachelor of Science student. You're not necessarily wanting to do honours, but you have that option when you get to the end of the 3 years. If you come into one of these other more specialised degrees, you know that you're going to do an honours year. And the reasons you might do an honours year, you gain research experience. It's a different sort of year. Those who are interested in going on to do a PhD always do an honours year, but it does give you more career options as well. It gives you different sorts of skills that certainly some employers are interested in. Now, just a comment as I go through, in science, prerequisites do matter. Many second-year courses have first-year courses as prerequisites. So a prerequisite is a course you must have done in an earlier year in order to be eligible for that course in a later year. Many third-year courses have second-year courses as prerequisites. First year is broad, second year starts to focus, and third year specialises in the discipline of your choice. So if you are doing a science degree, you do need to think about prerequisites, the choices you make, but just to say that you're not on your own in doing this, we provide you with all the help and advice you need. As you can sit down with people, they can talk about the sorts of things you might be interested in doing, and if you're interested in doing this, then you should probably choose one of these courses, because that will qualify you to do all of these courses in second year, etc. So you get a lot of help and advice as you go through. So let me just say a little bit about the basic Bachelor of Science degree. It's a very flexible degree. 2/3 of the courses have to come from science. They have to be identified as science courses, which means up to 1/3 of the courses can be from elsewhere in the university. So you can choose them from the humanities, you can do philosophy, you can do history, and still bundle it together under the title of a science degree. As you go through, you have to do what we call at least one major plus a minor. And I'll say in a minute what I mean by a major and a minor. Or if you want to be more specialized, you can choose to do 2 majors. And then, as I've said, you do have the option as a science student, a Bachelor of Science student, of doing an honours year. Students can progress to honours from this program, and you don't decide that until the 3rd year, as opposed to some of these other degrees where you decide from the very start that you're going to do an honours year in the 4th year. And there's a lot of flexibility. You can change in and out of these different programs as you go through. So why would you do a Bachelor of Science? You might do a Bachelor of Science if you want to do a range and a breadth of subject areas. If, for example, you want a science degree that's predominantly science, but which has things from outside the science colleges as well. So I talked about majors and minors. A major is 8 courses in a particular area. Majors are in broad ranges of broad disciplines. So you might have a major in biology, where you've got 8 biology courses, different flavors of biology. You might have a major in chemistry. Minors tend to be a bit more specialized. You package together 4 courses when you're focusing on something more specific. So, for example, biological neuropsychology is one of our minors, where you put together relevant neuroscience, biological psychology courses for a more focused minor. And then you'll also, perhaps in conversations with some of the advisors, you might hear them refer to specializations, which tend to be minors at a higher level where you really are quite specialized indeed. And again, that's the nomenclature. These are the sorts of terms you'll hear advisors talking about. As well as the basic Bachelor of Science, there are more specific degrees. There is a Bachelor of Science Psychology. There is a Bachelor of Medical Science. There is a Bachelor of Health Sciences. There is a Bachelor of Biotechnology. There's a Bachelor of Genetics, Bachelor in Environment and Sustainability, and there is a Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences. So if you're coming in with a more focused idea, a clearer idea of the sorts of things you want to study, you do have the option of doing these more specific named degrees where it's clear from the degree title what your area of specialization is. Now, in terms of prerequisites, in general, there is no prerequisites for the Bachelor of Science. You can come into the Bachelor of Science no matter what you've done, but having said that, some of the subjects within the Bachelor of Science do require prior study in particular areas. And in particular, chemistry and later year biology courses require that you do first year chemistry. And to do first year chemistry, you have to have had some experience in chemistry. And that may be at school or college, but if you've come to this point and you're at the end of year 12 and you haven't done chemistry, but nevertheless you're now interested in doing chemistry and/or biology, we can make provision for that. So if you're in that situation, if you're interested in science and you think you may require chemistry as you go along, please talk to the advisors, and they can talk about how we put in place bridging courses to allow you to meet those prerequisites. For mathematics, you need to have done that previously, and if you're studying physics at the university, you study mathematics alongside physics, which means you need to have some mathematics background as well. Some programs, not the Bachelor of Science, but some of the others have prerequisites because first year chemistry is required. If you're doing the Bachelor of Medical Science, you will find that you have prescribed to do chemistry in first year. Same is true of health sciences, biotechnology, and genetics. So again, the same applies. If you get to this point and you haven't got chemistry at school, please talk to the chemistry advisors here who will give you advice on how you might approach that, how you might meet the prerequisite requirement if you haven't yet got it at school. And then I've talked already about the 4th year that you have the option of doing. As a BSc student, you decide in 3rd year whether you'd like to do honours. If you're doing the Bachelor of Science Advanced or the PhD, then you know from the very start that you're going to do honours. And honours looks a little bit different depending on which subject you're doing it in. In all cases, it has a substantial research component. So you are given a research project, you're doing research with advice, with help, with support from a supervisor, but you really are doing things. You are trying to make discoveries, develop new theories, discover new things as part of your 4th year at the university. If you're doing it in maths and physics, you will do about 50% coursework, 50% research project in terms of how you spend your time. If you're doing it in biology, you spend almost the whole year doing a research project. And here's a picture of Adelaide Dennis, who is at that point doing her honours year in biology, and just so Adelaide went on, she did honours in biology, then she did a PhD, and then she did postgraduate medicine, and she's now first year out as a doctor in Melbourne. But that's her in her honours year. And as an honours student, it's a different sort of year. You do your own independent research with advice and support from supervisors. You learn a whole range of new skills: time management, critical thinking, working with others, presenting research in form of talks and in written form. There's a whole lot of higher skills, which, as I've said, you will need if you're going to do a PhD, and which employers will also place value on. And so that's another conversation we might have. It leads to a PhD study, and it leads to a wider range of job opportunities if you choose to do this fourth year, this honours year, either as part of a science degree, a BSc, or one of the more specialised degrees. Now, the more specialised degrees, I've mentioned already, the PhD, where you come in, it's a research-focused degree. You know from the start that you're doing honours. The Bachelor of Science Advanced has various options as you go through. Most of the courses you do are the same as those doing the standard BSc, but in a number of courses, you're given extension work to do. Bachelor of Psychology, Bachelor of Environment and Sustainability. All four of these degrees, you know you're going to do the fourth year. You are going to do the honours year, and you decide that early on. Of course, having said that, of course, there is a lot of flexibility, and if along the way you decide, actually, I've changed my mind, that's also possible. The Bachelor of Philosophy, just to say a little bit more about this is the most highly selected degree at the university, and as I said, it gives you research experience from first year. You're assigned a mentor, an academic mentor, from first year. This will be someone who runs an active research program at the university, and you have the opportunity to get involved in their academic research and indeed other people's as well. It's very flexible. You can choose whatever courses you want to do in a PhD. You have to do the honours year, and it does provide a specific pathway to medicine at the ANU. So a specific number, and I think it's 10 places, are reserved for PhD students to gain entry, providing they satisfy particular conditions, into the ANU medical program. So that's something, again, if that's your interest, you might like to consider that. And just to say, here at the ANU, one of the real flavours of degrees at the ANU, it's a very strong science university, but it's also a very strong humanities university, and you can combine any number of different subjects into flexible double degrees. So you can do science together with arts, with social sciences, with business. You can put in engineering, you can put in advanced computing, you can do a science law degree. So there are ways in which you can put together a double degree. A flexible double degree. It gives you lots of flexibility, and then you graduate with 2 degrees, giving you options in different disciplines in different areas. If you're interested in postgraduate coursework, let me just refer briefly to our master's courses. We have a whole range of master's degrees. These are done after you've done a bachelor's degree. They're a 2-year degree, and then there is also the option of an advanced master's degree. Again, it's a 2-year degree. The second year is a research project, pretty similar to the honours degree that you do in the 4th year of an undergraduate degree. So let me just say a little bit about what's special about the ANU, what we think is different about the ANU, and what I would like you to have in your mind as you think about where you might like to go to university. So the ANU is it's a very strong research university. It's also a very strong teaching university. And relatively recently, within the last 10 years, we have built a range of teaching buildings, and in particular, we have buildings where there are specific modern lecture facilities, and here is one. This is a physics lecture. That's Nanda Das Gupta giving a physics lecture, and you can see the students are sitting around tables. They have things projected on their screen. So we have modern lecture theatres designed based on state-of-the-art principles, and that's shown here, the students working together in groups on particular subject areas, and we also have within the same building, again, it's less than 10 years old, state-of-the-art laboratory facilities. So if you're interested in doing any sort of laboratory work, we've got this state-of-the-art facility with all modern equipment and infrastructure. So if you come to the ANU and you're interested in doing laboratory-type work, you'll learn in the classrooms like the sort I showed you, and you'll be doing practical work, a lot of practical work in laboratories such as this, working in groups, typically with PhD students guiding you and helping you with those practical experiments. If field work is more your thing, this is a real strong feature of the university. Again, if you're interested in earth sciences, if you're interested in the environment, if you're interested in biology, you will certainly do a lot of field work. You will find yourself in interesting places for up to a week. You may find yourself down on the coast at the campus that the university has down at Kyola in the forest there, or on the seashore. You may find yourself up in the mountains, up in the mountain study centres that we have. We subsidise the field trips, and they are a lot of fun. At the university, we think, from our point of view, the students coming through and doing science, we're very keen that they should have as much hands-on experience in their discipline as possible. So more than most universities, we put a lot of effort into the laboratory practical work. Laboratory practices are expensive to run, fieldwork is expensive to run, but from our point of view, it's the things we really value. If you graduate with a science degree from the university, you will have done more lab work, you will have done more fieldwork than is the case, and I think, from any other university. And as I said, it is a lot of fun. We offer, we think, we hope, a distinctive undergraduate experience. We have very many national award-winning teachers. We have international opportunities. We have a whole lot of universities around the world, in Asia, in Europe, in North America, in Canada, and the US, with whom we have agreements for exchange. So many of our students, the majority of our, maybe perhaps not the majority, many of our students, if they want to, have the opportunity to go and spend a semester abroad, and many of them do. And that typically involves spending 6 months living in those other countries. We recognise the courses that you do over there. It counts towards your ANU degree, and that's a good opportunity if you want to travel internationally as part of your degree. Because we're a relatively small university, we have relatively small size classes, and that makes a difference. It means you can get to know your lecturers on a first name basis. The class size here at the ANU is substantially smaller than you'll find in the big state universities in Melbourne, Sydney, and elsewhere, and we really value that. And we also put a lot of value on interdisciplinary approaches. So we have developed, as I said, the university is strong in science, it's also very strong in the humanities, and we've developed a whole suite of what we call the Vice-Chancellor's courses, and these are specialist courses, and you probably can't read that. And these are courses with names such as Creating Knowledge, Leadership and Influence in a Complex World, Unraveling Complexity, Mobilizing Research, where you get people from all over the university, academics, researchers from all over the university, put together into a single course where you really focus on interdisciplinary discussions of important subjects. And that, again, is something you have the opportunity to do at this particular university. It's a very strong research university, and if you come here and enroll in the courses here, you will soon become aware of that because research underpins everything we do. The lecturers that are teaching you first year chemistry, biology, physics are all significant researchers in their own right. They all run significant research programs, and as you go on into second year and third year and do more specialized courses, you will hear more and more the lecturers drawing on their research, on research that other people have done in research in their disciplines, the latest published research, to talk to you about the particular area that you're studying. And that really does influence how we teach. The education you get here draws from the very recent, the most recent breakthroughs, the most recent discoveries. And as a student here, you are part of a community in which students and staff are constantly making new discoveries. And referring to students there, these are the honours students. These are the PhD students who are doing research with the ANU lecturers, with the academics, discovering new things, and you are part of that community. You will know these people. They will talk with you about their research, and as I've said, they will draw on this in their lecture material. Honours pathway programs for students who want to extend a subject further. So the BSc Advanced, as I said, you commit to doing a fourth year when you come in, and as you go through, you will be extended and you will be exposed to different dimensions of research as you go through that program. And the PhD program and direct honours entry degrees are there for high achieving students. And again, you get ample opportunity on the way through to actively engage with the research programs that are going on at the university and that are informing the sorts of lectures and education that we give. We give our students as much support as we can. The class sizes are relatively small, as I said, compared to the bigger universities, and we have specific organisation in place. We have the so-called PAL, the Peer-Assisted Learning Process. So as a first-year student, you will come together in groups and learn from one another. And there are senior people from second year and third year helping the first-year students come to terms with the study, come to terms with the subject matter. It's a change, it's different when you go to university and you get advice through this scheme, the PAL scheme, from the later year students in how to approach study, and you'll get help and support there. We have specific physical areas, the student study and social areas, the so-called drop-in centres. That, for example, is in the biology school. That's a space for the students, and the students come together to talk with one another, to come together in groups, to meet with second year and third year students. So there is this flow of information between the students in the different years to provide as much support as we can. If you do come and do honours, just as we have a relatively new teaching building, we have a suite of relatively new science buildings. This is the chemistry building, this is the biology building. They have state-of-the-art laboratories, they have high-tech, state-of-the-art infrastructure and equipment. And if you do an honours year, that's exactly the equipment you use. You're doing research right at the cutting edge, you're discovering new things, you're writing about it, and that is a particular experience. And that then is all I had to say in terms of my slides. I'm happy to take questions, but I also would encourage you, for those of you who haven't been already, to head up to level 6 on the Mari Ray building. And there are representatives from all of the different areas of science and the different areas of health and medicine, and they'll be able to answer much more specific questions and have as long a conversation as you want up there. So I'll finish there. I can
hand this round for people that want to ask questions.
Okay, that would be great. Any questions or comments, and we can do it now or we can do it afterwards, or as I said, I would encourage you to head across to level 6. Any? One over, oh, right in the middle of the back. That's probably the very hardest seat to get a microphone to, I imagine. Level 6 of the Mari Ray building, which is 50 metres that way. And there's stairs all the way up. I've just done it. And there's a lift too.
There's just a quick question. Can you do a flexible double with advanced science?
I think so. Yes, I think you can. I think you can. You have to do the advanced science. You have to do. It'll take you longer than the standard flexible double because you have to do the honours year, the 4th year. But yes, you can. So you can do an yes. I think the short answer is.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Do you want to just maybe yell it out?
Yeah, yell it out.
Can you do honours on the Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences?
Yes, you can. You can.
Just to clarify, that was, can you do honours with the Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences?
Yes.
And I think the answer was yes.
Yeah, and so all of those specialist degrees you can. So Bachelor of Genetics, Bachelor of Biotechnology, any of those you can do honours, and the honours would be in genetics or biotechnology or mathematical sciences. So essentially you have the same options as you do with a science degree. It is just sending a signal that this is a more specialised degree. If you're doing the Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences, you know mathematics. And that's a relatively new degree, and it's been quite a strong uptake in that one. And people with Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences go off and do all sorts of interesting things, and work in the city, and work with Google, and work with universities, etc. Yes, please.
With environmental science, I'm just wondering when you say there's small class sizes, like what sort of size are you talking number-wise, and what are the job prospects beyond?
So in terms of it changes as you go up. So the first year classes are the biggest, and the second year classes are smaller again, and the third year classes are smaller again. So for example, I've just finished lecturing first year molecular biology, which would have had some environmental scientists there. There's about 300 in that class, and then in second year the class sizes might be anywhere from 30 to 70, 80, and then in third year, depending on what it is, it'll be smaller again. And then you go off into field work and you have groups and things like that. So, and then the sort of job prospects for environmental science, they end up all over the place. I mean, in general, because this is Canberra, a lot of our people end up in government, and there's all sorts of departments that deal with environmental science, and they do there. I was out last night at Mulligan's flat, and the ranger who was showing us around had a degree in environmental science, so people who work in the outdoors around Canberra and elsewhere. Certainly government, universities, there's a whole range of things. If you go to level 6, you'll meet some real, in fact, the head of environmental science is there, and he'll elaborate in more detail. Any other questions before we finish, or are we done?
Yeah, I think we're wrapping up.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks so much, everybody. Just an FYI, the ANU College of Asia and the Pacific will be next session.
We come from all across Australia and from all corners of the earth. We come because we are called to face the complex challenges of a changing world. We come seeking space to discover and to imagine a nation's future. We come to a global capital, to a hub of progress, to the heart of change. We come to meet each other and to meet tomorrow for tomorrow's sake. We come because we are called to define our futures at the meeting place.
Are you thinking about moving away from home to come to ANU? I did, and today I want to show you around so you can see why I love it so much. This is Canberra, the central hub of the uni, and it's a great place to grab a coffee on the way to a lecture. Now I want to show you the Ambush Gallery. They often put on exhibitions of student art here, and the exhibition opening nights are always a lot of fun. Now I'm going to show you along the residential halls of Daly Road. Because I moved to Canberra from Queensland, I found it such a relief that ANU has an accommodation guarantee for all incoming first year students. Also, as you can see, there are so many great accommodation options to choose from. Hope you've enjoyed the tour today. Make sure you get online and apply now.
Do you want me to show you what a typical day at ANU looks like? Let's go. The best thing about ANU is the campus is everything you need. We've got a club line, which is an amazing gym. We've got the libraries and Student Central, which are great places if you need support. And most of all, we've got chart time. The class sizes are really small here, which makes it so much easier to get one-to-one support. Well, there's a lights festival on tonight called Enlighten, so I reckon I'm going to head there. So I'll see you in a couple hours and I'll show you around. Hope you enjoyed the day. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next year.
Hey, I'm Sammy and I'm a student at ANU, and I want to tell you why I moved to Melbourne to start uni and then moved back to go to ANU. Basically, I'm from Canberra, I grew up here, and I decided to move to Melbourne when I was 19 to start uni because I just wanted to change and to experience big city life.
But actually what I found was big city life was really overwhelming and really not a great environment for studying. And ultimately I decided to move back. When I decided to move back, the application process was actually super easy. I just applied like I usually would and used my marks from my last year in Melbourne.
There's so much to do here, like everything that you want to do in a big city you can do in Canberra, but everything here is just so much more accessible. I kind of wish that someone had just told me that earlier because Canberra's incredible and I kind of don't know why I left in the first place.
Do the winters get easier? No. Alright, let's do it. I'm Jack, I study PPE, I'm from Rockhampton, Queensland. What surprised you the most when you moved to Canberra? I would say like maybe how convenient everything is. Got kind of like a big city vibe, but in like a small city kind of layout. So it's easy to kind of get around everywhere. What was the hardest part about leaving home? It wasn't anything like homesickness or anything like that for me. I don't know, I mean, I really liked it. Do the winters get easier? Well, I'll tell you what, they were a lot easier when I was at college and we had heating in the rooms. They'd probably get easier because you're more prepared for them. That's probably the positive outtake here.
We come from all across Australia and from all corners of the earth. We come because we are called to face the complex challenges of a changing world. We come seeking space to discover and to imagine a nation's future. We come to a global capital, to a hub of progress, to the heart of change. We come to meet each other and to meet tomorrow for tomorrow's sake. We come because we are called to define our futures at the meeting place.